What is up, folks at home? Welcome back to the channel. It is turning into winter on us up here in the North Country. With that being said, the Ned rig is going to be the bait to throw this time of year to catch lots of bass. Let's dive into today's video, all about Ned rig, different rigs, different tips and tricks. Let's go. Alright guys, with the prevalence of Ned heads these days, I like to change things up. One of my favorite ways to throw a Ned rig this time of year is the Pack-A-Slim by NetBait. And literally, I text pose this on that upgrade jig head from Ebb and Flow. And I like to text pose this one for a couple of reasons. One, this bait excels dragging on rock veins. So as you can see here, I'm literally keeping this bait on the bottom and I'm inching it forward pieces at a time. This looks like a crawfish that's not hibernating this time of year. Plus the extra lead on this jig head is going to give you an extra amount of noise when you are dragging this. This is a pure dragging profile jig and jig head combination right here. The Pack-A-Chunk doesn't have a lot of buoyancy in it, but it does do a good job. So that Pack-A-Slim by NetBait is a killer bait on rock veins this time of year. Smallmouth will absolutely chew this. Now, if you need that bait to stand up a little bit more, then you can go to that craw from Crush City here, regular rigged on that upgrade jig head, and this one's going to stand up on the bottom, give you a little bit more action, allow you to hop it. That upgrade jig head stands it up nicely, plus this is going to stick on there for 20, 30, 40, 50 fish. It ain't going anywhere. This craw has been super good, and it's not too active. It doesn't have too many times where it's not going to get bit. Cadence fished it in a ton of different tournament situations, always brought a limit in because of it. So that upgrade jig head looks really, really good with that Crush City craw in a lot of different colors here. This is probably my favorite color. That blue flake in it looks really nice, and it swims and hops on the bottom really nicely. Another good bait to throw on those rock veins that are going to hold fish this time of year. Vital to find hard cover when you're throwing a Ned rig. Vital to find those areas where fish are going to sit belly on the bottom and try to eat and keep warm. The third way I like to throw this is with that Z-Man Hula Grub. And I like the Hula Grub because it's a little bit bigger of a profile. Once again, a dime a dozen are throwing that Ned rig TRD, and fish have become accustomed to that. So anything that you can throw that does the same thing but offers a little bit different action here is going to excel. The Hula Grub has got a lot of bites for me. It's got a nice swim on it. You can almost tickle wind it back to the boat, and the upgrade jig head gives it that destabilized swimming motion. So it's a great way to fish a Ned rig. Plus you can cast this 1/4 ounce bait really, really far. You can drag it on bottom and be confident that that bait is going to stay there on bottom. Plus the hooks on these things are sticky sharp and they're 2x. They're literally not going to bend out on those big fish. You run into a pike or muskie on this, you can horse them in on real tackle, not those spider webs and stuff like that. So great way to target fish. That Hula Grub is super killer in this setting and situation. It's just one of those ways to be a little bit different. Now I wanted to show you the full size bait from Elastec on here, and this dinger size bait, that big TRD, looks really good on this jig head. Now this can be great around big fish in the warmer waters. Big TRD will catch fish. It also looks great swimming it through the water. It's a little bit active for the wintertime, but I wanted to show you as you have a comparison as to what a full-size worm looks like on this jig head. Here is your classic TRD on the upgrade jig head. It looks really good. It stands up on the bottom nicely, and it's got a sharp hook. Those eyes make it easy to tickle wind and roll through there. I love to fish the Ned, and this is almost lazy Ned fishing because it's gonna have a quick fall, and that bottom hop looks good. A good way to target those deep fish. Once again, you can fish this as slow or as fast as you want to. Sometimes I've caught fish with a Ned rig just simply winding this bait back to the boat. You got to let the fish tell you what they want on a certain day, and it's going to change from day to day. One day they might want it solely on the bottom like this. Another day they might want it up in the column. You just got to fish it different ways and let the fish tell you how they want it. This jig head does a great job of doing that. The Ned rig is a literal bite generator. That's what it is. But so many guys have fished the Ned now, you got to find a way to be different. You can't just pick up a light jig head and chuck that worm out there and catch 100 fish like you used to be able to, because so many fish have become accustomed to what that Ned rig looks like. This is a great way to be different. It's a great way to look and imitate the bait fish and the prey that they are using to generate bites with this time of year. Oftentimes it's good to change your tackles. Hope you enjoyed today's underwater video all about Ned rigs. When the water gets cold, there is hardly a bait that's better at catching them than the Ned rig. There's a lot of different things that you can do with Ned rigs. You can mix it up. You can use crawfish. You can use Ned worms. You can use full-size baits. A lot of things you can do to mix up your presentation. Remember, try things out until bass tell you what they want to eat that day. Big shout out to Ebb and Flow. Those literal upgrade jigs are amazing underwater. They're going to do big things for us in the coming year. So check them out at Ebb and Flow. They're all linked down in the description. Help us out there. Help us out on Omnia. Use all of our links. Help support the channel. Help grow this. We want to make this channel something that helps you guys catch more fish. We'll see you out there.